Where's auto light? Did that help any? There we go. I don't know. Woo! All right, Amanda. Now I'm speaking with.
What's your full name?
Speak up loud.
Shelby Kimbro.
Why were you named it?
Huh?
Do you know why you were named it?
Do you know why you were named Gubby?
No, I don't.
Well, you know, Miss Borders, she was called Bob. They nicknamed her Bob.
They did.
Yeah, because she was with her brothers all the time. And they didn't want a girl tagging along, so they called her Bob. So go ahead, Amanda.
Do you know if you were named after somebody else?
No, my brother said I was named after Daddy's old oxen.
There you go.
Did you have a nickname as you were growing up?
Yeah. Teddy Bear. They called me Teddy. If they named it Teddy Bear. Nook's nickname.
Who's Nook? Who nicknamed you? Who nicknamed you, Gubby?
My brothers and sisters. They nicknamed me as Teddy. Teddy, they bought me a little teddy bear, and I thought that was the prettiest thing they ever saw for Christmas. And they called me Teddy from then on. And lots of these people still call him, my schoolmates call me Teddy.
Well, that's great. See, I never figured that one out.
Where were you born?
In 1909,
Where?
right on the old Kimbro house.
Where's that at? Where's that located at?
And down below here, we used to have a reunion down there. That's for Joe Beth starting the family. Joe Beth, was you in the family?
Where's your family? No.
That was before.
Where was it located? What highway?
It's just over 7-Eleven.
To the left?
That's the farm road, 7-Eleven. Go out Nacogdoches Highway and take the left. Go down to Jericho and on down to Brady Community. I was born in Brady Community.
What year?
1909.
What month?
June the 23rd.
June 23rd. Okay.
Do you remember hearing your grandparents describe their lives?
Do what, hon?
Do you remember hearing your grandparents describe their lives?
Oh yeah, I just can't remember. On both sides. They died when I was 10 years old.
So you just barely remember them.
Just barely remember.
Go ahead.
Do you remember your great-grandparents?
No.
Who was the oldest person you can remember in your family as a child?
Who's the older person that you can ever remember when you were a child? In your family?
Yeah, it was Irvin. And you want me to name them?
Yeah, and tell me who they were.
Well, Joe Kimbro was my oldest brother. Irvin Kimbro was the second one. Ray Kimbro, he was a barber here in town. And Hubert Kimbro, he's dead, passed away, and Jack's dead, passed away. And they all dead. Homer, the baby boy, still living. Him's only 2 Kimbro boys left.
What do you remember about your grandparents?
Well, I knew he drove ox team most all his days. And he was a logging contractor. And his team was oxen. So when he died and passed away, Daddy bought a sawmill, and that's what he run for years and years. Small tie mill, we call it.
And they would cut down the wood and carry it to the sawmill?
Yeah.
What'd they cut it with?
with these big old saws, usually hand saws. It's cut the tree down and cut it up, and he'd haul the logs out with the oxen and mules.
How many guys did it take to get down an average tree?
How many what?
How many men did it take to get an average tree down?
About the way he had 7 or 8 people work there at the mill, and they'd swap up, and he'd have something for them to do outside.
See, that's interesting. That's it. That's something different. Go for it.
Do you remember your family discussing world events and politics?
What'd she say?
Do you remember your family talking about world events and politics?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they talked. I forgot what. They'd have these big elections, you know, like they do now, every 4 years. And there's old Mom Ferguson, I remember her. Hell, everybody else knew. She was the governor of Texas. Mom Ferguson.
What year? Do you remember?
Out about 1906 or 7,
She was a governor.
governor of Texas.
See, that's something I didn't know about. Well, was she a good governor?
What do you say?
Was she a good governor?
Yes, she was. She took they impeached her husband, and they give the job to his wife, was Mom Ferguson.
Well, see, that's an idea. We should give it to Hillary. Yeah. All right, go ahead with your next one.
Was there a chore that you really hated doing as a child?
And what?
Was it a chore that you really hated doing as a child?
Was there a chore you really hated doing when you were a child?
No, I don't think so.
Go ahead. I understand. I hated them all. Go ahead. In your next one.
What would you consider to be the most important inventions that have been made during your lifetime?
What's the most important invention during your lifetime, do you think?
Gosh, I don't know. Can you say that again, huh?
During your lifetime, what do you think is the most important invention?
That's been where I worked at.
No. What has been invented during your lifetime that you thought is the most important one? I think it's the toilet myself, but...
You know, like microwave TVs, color TVs.
Yeah.
Refrigerator.
Yeah.
What is the most important one? What do you think is the most important one? The refrigerator?
Yeah.
Because of electricity with it to keep your food stored so long?
Well, we didn't have but 110 power then, and now they didn't have to 220 run the house. But that's what air conditions come in, and they had to have a much bigger machine, and they hooked 220 up. We just we always lived with it. Like, of course, I was raised with a coal oil lamp. You saw them sit on the table.
That's what you did your homework with?
Yeah.
Next one.
How is the world now different from what it was like when you were a child?
How was the world different like what it was when you were a child?
Oh, it's lots of difference. Of course, my daddy died when I was real young then. He was 67 years old when he passed away. And my brother Joel, he taken over and was our father.
How's it different? I think it's that we move too fast paced right now. I think that's how it's different right now. We move too fast at the pace back then.
That's right.
Back then you didn't move so fast. I mean, you had to get your chores done, but you weren't always in a hurry.
Sure.
Okay, next question.
Do you ever remember not having enough food to eat because times were hard for your family?
Do you remember ever yeah?
We had cornbread for breakfast.
Uh-huh.
But we raised our meats, hogs and beef.
What did you, how, was there a cafeteria when you went to school?
No, and we carried our lunch
What you carried it in?
in a certain bucket.
In a bucket. And what was in your lunch? What consisted of a lunch?
What did the teacher do?
No, what was in the lunch? What did you have for lunch?
Oh, I had biscuit and syrup, bacon. We raised our own bacon.
And let's see, what else? What was your school hours? From what time to what time?
Well, there's some of what they have now. They never did change that time. We go in the schoolroom at 8 o'clock, and we'd have an hour out for dinner. And turn out at 12, we'd go back to the room at 1. And we'd have a recess, middle of the evening.
What would you do during recess?
Play basketball, baseball. We had several baseball courts we played on.
See, the girls said they would just sit there and watch the boys. And you think, well, what did the boys do? Well, they played. Go ahead.
What was your favorite subject in school?
What's what?
Your favorite subject in school?
Oh, geography and arithmetic.
Why?
Well, it's easy got.
There you go. That's a good answer.
What was your least favorite subject in school?
What's what?
Your least favorite subject?
I imagine it was arithmetic. I imagine it was arithmetic.
What class did you not like to go to?
That was arithmetic. That was the hardest classes I could get, but I loved to go geography, name all the states and all things like that.
How many were in your class? Approximately.
There's about 12.
Where did you go to school at?
Brady.
In Brady? How did you get to school?
Walked
How far was it?
3 miles.
3 miles. How early in the morning did you have to go to get to school?
Well, we had it was a 2-room school. When you got to 6th, you went to the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And that's first you could go. They just, you had, well, the bigger school was a new one. I never did go to past the 9th grade.
How early did you get up in the morning? What did you do when you got up in the morning? What time did you get up?
Oh, it was about 6:30.
Did you have any chores in the morning before you went to school?
Yeah, we had to turn the cows out and separate the calves, feed the horses.
And then you ate breakfast and then you went out to school. What time would you start walking?
Oh, about 7. That'd give us hours to get to school. 3 miles over. We'd always leave that, get out at 4 that evening.
And then you get home at 5, then what would you do?
Help do up the night work, getting wood in, stow wood, milk the cows, separate the calves.
Go take a bath?
We did when we go to the creek. But we generally always take a bath in the creek on Friday and Saturday. We had a pond there we swam in. But it was too cold in wintertime, we'd have to bathe in that cold water.
Well, how did you flush the toilet?
It was outdoor toilet.
It was an outhouse?
What do you say?
It was an outhouse.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you do for a sink?
What? Papa put lime and stuff like that in.
Did you have to carry in water?
Yeah, we got an old,
Tell me about Bonnie and Clyde. Do you know about them?
yeah, I knew them first acquainted with.
You did? Well, tell me about it.
Well, when I first I read,
It went off again?
my daddy took to Houston, my daddy took to Shreveport Times. And that's where we began to hear. Well, we had a stranger moved in our community, and Papa and Mama thought it was a whole lot of them. There was Clyde Bear's and Bonnie's friend, girl, Mr. Walden, she had a grown girl, and she come to see them. She brought Bonnie and Clyde. They come to Papa's sawmill and bought some lumber to build a smokehouse. That's where they put the meat and lard and stuff in. So they introduced me as Mr. Brown. Clyde Barrow said, want me to meet their friend, Mr. Brown and Miss Brown. Well, we had a dog there, three squirrels. He was a great hunter. And I delivered the lumber that Mr. Barrow, with Brown is that, they changed his name to me as Brown. Let's go hunting when you get off of work to see it. We had a big woods area there and branches running it, and so I carried, Johnny Bratcher was a friend of Clyde Barrow, but I didn't know it was Clyde Barrow until after the excitement was over. But it lasted about a week. One morning we went up to Short to a dance that night. I met Clyde Barrow's wife, Bonnie, and danced with her. Didn't met with, I thought, Miss Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it dropped on that away, and finally they robbed that Carthage bank about 11 o'clock, and we didn't know nothing about it, but we did after we hauled the lumber up there, and so it rocked off. They caught Johnny Bratcher, but never did catch Bonnie and Clyde. Papa told us one morning, said, that was Clyde Barrow come in and went a hunt with you. They wanted to introduce you to. I said, it's Mr. Brown. Well, then we was peeling corn one evening, and there was a lawyer coming out, summoned me and Papa to court in Tyler, Texas, in Moran Borders. He went with us. He got acquainted with Mr. Brown up there that day. And Bill, that wasn't Bill, it was Bill's brother. So they all summoned us to go to Tyler to the court. And we went on to court up there, and they wouldn't. I was in a witness room where they locked up. Well, come my time to go, they come in there, the bailiff did, and carried us down there, swore me on the stand, and said, do you know them folks? I said, Clyde, not Clyde, but Ramblin' Hamilton. He was a big buddy of he was big buddy to Clyde. And they asked me, I hauled them some lumber up there to build them a smokehouse for Old Man Walden. Old Man Walden was Johnny Bratcher's dad-in-law. And so then that got Daddy kind of stirred up about it. He didn't know what. We went up there to dance, and I danced with Clyde's wife, but I didn't know what was Clyde. I didn't know what I told his wife. I didn't know it was Bonnie Parker, Clyde Barrow. And so then we went to court and stayed up to court. But they never did find Clyde and Bonnie. They was killed in Louisiana. And then But they sent Johnny Bratcher to the penitentiary for it.
How old were you then?
I was about 16 years old.
And you had all that fun. You didn't know it was going to be that exciting, did
It was
you?
fun when it was over with.
Tell them about when you and Mr. Brown and Hamilton, or whatever his name was, went squirrel hunting.
Yeah, I went squirrel, and they didn't finish that a while ago.
Okay.
But after he got the lumber hauled up there, we went on the hunt. And I heard Raymond Hamilton tell Clyde Bear, he said, now, the rule is not shooting with sitting still. You know, a lot of people fight dogs barking, squirrels sit there and you shoot it at. They'd get him to running. And my God, he'd jump from tree to tree. You seen squirrels do that? Well, they'd shoot that squirrel when he was in the air. So I still didn't know I was
Didn't know it was that good, did you?
But,
Did you and your friends have a special hangout where you like to spend some time?
do what?
Did you and your friends have a special hangout where you spent a lot of time?
Oh, gosh, no. Oh, yeah, all the school kids, but these are just drifters coming through.
Uh-huh. But did you have a special hangout?
And what?
Did you go a special place, you and your friends, your school kids?
Yeah, we'd go to one of the Boulderses and Biggerses, and there's 4 or 5 boys, Boulderses, and there's 4 or 5 Biggerses. We'd all go and have a play party, and they'd call it, and stay till midnight. And
Well, what would you do at the party?
do what?
What would you do there at the party?
Oh, they'd play the guitar and fiddle, you know, and they'd have a fiddler there, and they'd sing, and then we'd all play rain plays. Here goes Topsy through the winter. You ever hear that?
No, I never heard of that. Tell me.
The rain plays is, you know, all they have, but now they didn't have none down in Newell. It was too rough. They'd always have dancing. We wouldn't go down to Newell. Don't go that big. People may not want what to say.
That's okay. I'll edit out.
Newell was a sawmill town, and there was some rough ones there.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to tell you, we had a clean community. If we didn't, they'd go find what's wrong in the trustees and all. And there was Miss Jean Boulders and Ben Biggers as trustee, and Daddy, Wiley Kimbro. And Wiley had 2 boys and 3 girls. All 3 made school teachers. Lucille, Annie Mae, and Mildred.
Well, what was the ring toys? What was that you were singing for me? Well, how did it go?
Now what?
You were singing that little song for me. How did it go?
Here goes Topsy through the winter. Ring up. Go around. I forget to play. You get your girl and go around with the music. And there's here goes Topsy through the winter.
That's cute. I'll have to look that up. Let's go to the next one. Is it still recording? The battery light's still on. Mm-hmm. What did you usually wear to school?
Overhauled.
What did the girls wear?
What do you say?
What did the girls wear?
They wore skirts. You didn't see one of them with slacks on them days.
How old were you when you started dating?
When I done what?
When you first started dating, how old were you?
Oh, I was about 15.
Let me look here. If you had to do it all over again, would you change the way you had your life? What would you do different? If you had to do it all over again, would you do it the same?
I have to say, no, I'm glad it happened just like it did. I had lots of fun. That's lots of girlfriends.
That's good.
But honey, I went with her about 2 years. She didn't live about a half a mile from the house.
And you walked a lot, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Meet at that old tree, huh?
I finally got me a T-model car. My daddy did and let me drive it.
How old were you?
I was about 15.
Yeah, how much did a car cost?
I did know, honey, it was about $250. It was second-hand.
Mm-hmm. As a child, what did you want to do when you grew up?
Well, I didn't know. I just, there wasn't no work them days. He couldn't get a job, and Daddy bought a mill, but and he cut lumber, but lumber got so cheap then, so many of these big mills hauled them out, we went to lose it.
Ken. Okay. Let me look here. How long did you know your wife before you got married?
About 2 years.
About 2 years. Okay. How long, well, this is some of the stuff we were talking about. How long was your work day? How long was a work day when you worked?
8 hours.
And how many days a week?
Well, till I went and did this myself with my brother, I didn't work with a day, I worked with a job. Contracted, you know.
Uh-huh. And what was your pay usually?
Well, we'd get with 15 to 25 hours to sand a little house, a small house, and maybe one more.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember your first car that you got to buy?
First one?
Car.
Oh, you sleep on?
No, your first car. Automobile.
Oh, yeah. First thing I was holding there now. I got me a 1925 T Model Ford Roadster with a jump seat in the back.
What's a jump seat?
That's for a couple of good ride with you, put them in the jump seat. That's, you had a lid to turn, when you turn it up, there's the back of it, and there's a cushion just like this. There's a jump seat.
How much did it cost you?
Oh, with much, a whole car cost $475. $475, brand new T-Model. But later on, I bought a model, come out with shift leader. It went up then to about $800. That's one I used to ride Lonnie around in.
Were they automatic or standard?
You'd have to shift it. Had a lever on down here, second and high.
Ooh, that's neat. What wars have been fought during your lifetime?
What?
What wars have been fought during your lifetime?
Oh, I went to, my uncle went to that World War II. They call it World War I and II. And these others, I went through 4, I guess.
How did you feel about them? Do you think they were necessary?
Mom and Papa said you wouldn't.
What U.S. president did you admire the most in your lifetime?
Roosevelt,
How come?
because he brought us out of the Depression. He's the one who sent out the WPA works and fed the people and give them jobs. Boy, he was a great man.
As you see it, what is the biggest problem that faces our nation right now?
No, you'd have to ask somebody smarter than I am. I just don't know, eh?
That's not a problem. Have you ever played a good practical joke on anybody?
Yeah,
Can you remember it?
yeah.
You want to tell me about it?
I don't believe I can tell you straight how I did forget some of it.
But it was fun, wasn't it? What did you do when you weren't working?
When it wasn't working, we used to run fox and run our dogs after bobcats and wolves. Hunted all over the country. I was a great friend of Hank O'Shillings. You've heard of him.
Uh-huh.
His sign down, his dog picture. I used to hunt with him.
Go real fast.
Hello, my name is Amanda Crowley. I Miss Kimbro. I hope that you get as much enjoyment from this video as I have from making it. Thank you.
I should have taken.
I was born in Shelby. I was born here several miles back this way. And I went to school here until I was in high school. And then my mother and daddy moved to Spanish. And we started going to school in Center. That's where I finished high school in 1928. I finished high school in
Where was the school at?
1928. The high school, it was down back on Ocean Street. It was like the third and fourth grade. On Nacogdoches Street, that school building.
The elementary?
Yes. That's where I went to school in high school.
Well, was all of that building there? Was it a square at that time?
It wasn't a thing about the building. In the bathrooms, there was no bathrooms in the school building. No water in the school building. You had to go outside to fountain water. It was just running out on the ground. Everybody had their own cup. Or they just let it, something else through it, they supposed to just take it out of the fountain. But, and going to the bathroom, oh my Lord, I can't describe it. And the bathroom was just a little outhouse. And it was, someone could go in and hide. And it was always a mess.
How many was in your class in the high school?
You know what?
How many were in your class in the high school?
Who's in my class?
How many?
Oh, honey, I have no idea.
Was it like 10, 20? Or was it like 100?
I can look up on my diploma. I've got it. I can never even tell how many graduated.
What about,
I was talking to Phil, Swansea Mathis the other day. And Doris and I went to Center in high school. We started in high school. But the rest of the gang from here didn't go until 11th, maybe up in the 11th grade. They moved to Center in the 11th grade. And there's several around here now that graduated when I did.
was there a cafeteria at the school then?
Yeah, how did you eat?
How did I eat?
Yeah. Who prepared your food? How did you eat? Was there a cafeteria?
Well, we lived close enough to the schoolhouse that we walked home for lunch. Why did we carried our lunch?
Did you carry paper sacks back then, or?
Yeah, we carried it. We didn't have any sandwiches. When I was smaller than, see, I was in high school. But when I lived in Shelbyville at 10, we lived 2 miles from school, I guess. And we walked if it was pretty weather. And we carried our lunch. Heard of a cafeteria. But everybody carried their lunch, and everybody got out at the same time for lunch, and everybody ate in gangs. My group was here, no group here. So,
You were born in Center?
Just out of Center, about 10 miles in the country, and at home.
At home.
At home.
What, did you have a doctor?
We had what they call a midwife.
Do you know who that was?
I think her last name was Middick. But of course, I did never know her. But I think she was a Middick, and that's all I knew about her.
How many brothers and sisters do you have? Or did you have?
6 sisters, 3 brothers, and 2 I lost two babies when they were real small. A little girl and a little boy. There was 12 in our family, but 10 of us lived to be grown, and some of us lived to be real old in the 90s.
Where were you born?
In 1909,
Where?
right on the old Kimbro house.
Where's that at? Where's that located at?
Down below here. We used to have a reunion down there. That's before Joe Beth starting the family. Joe Beth, was you in the family?
Where's your family? No.
That was before.
Where was it located? What highway?
It's just over 7-Eleven.
To the left?
That's Farm Road, 7-Eleven. Go out Nacogdoches Highway and take left. Go down to Jericho and on down to Brady Community. I was born in Brady Community,
What year?
1909,
What month?
June the 23rd.
June 23rd. Okay.
No, and we carried our lunch
What you carried it in?
in a certain bucket.
In a bucket. And what was in your lunch? What consisted of a lunch?
What did the teacher do?
No, what was in the lunch? What did you have for lunch?
Oh, I had biscuit, syrup, bacon. We raised our own bacon.
And let's see what else. What was your school hours? From what time to what time?
Well, there's some of what they have now. They never did change that time. We go into schoolroom at 8 o'clock, and we'd have an hour out for dinner. And it turned out at 12, we'd go back to the room at 1. And we'd have a recess, middle of the evening,
What would you do during recess?
play basketball, baseball. We had several baseball courts we played on.
For your lunch when you carried it?
Well, Mama would bake biscuits when we had flour. She'd bake biscuits. She'd make preserves, like we had pear trees and apple trees, and she'd make preserves, or maybe scramble an egg, put between the biscuit, and maybe we had a lot of pork. My daddy had hogs, and they'd clean those, breast those hogs, make sausage, and we'd have maybe a sausage between a biscuit and some syrup cookies and something like that. That's what we had. But you had to take a lunch because there was no such thing as a lunchroom.
Full name?
May Holt Satterwhite.
Do you know why you were named it?
Yes. When I was 5 years old, well, it wasn't when I was 5 years old. When I was born, there was a school teacher boarding at our house, and her name was May Ida. And she wanted them to name me after her. So they named me May. That's how I got May. Of course, Holt was I was a Holt before I married, but now my middle name really is Louise, May Louise Satterwhite.
So she could just make anything that you could sew on the machine. And we did have a nice clothes because she could just make anything.
Well, what did the sewing machine look like? I'm sure it didn't have a little pedal back then, did it?
Oh, Lord. To make the wheel run again and be up and down, you pedal the thing. And a paste down on it, pedal it. And you had a, well, what is it? This little piece of leather that came over a big wheel here, and then the little wheel up here. And you pedal it. Well, you wanted to stop pedaling. You wanted it to go, you began to pedal.
Didn't have a reverse, huh?
Beg pardon.
Didn't have a reverse, huh? What if you messed up and you want to go backward?
You turn the material
There you go.
Tell them about,
around.
What did you wear when you were growing up? How did the clothing change, or did it?
Oh, it changed greatly. In the wintertime, we wore what they call union suits with long legs. And cotton hose that pulled up over them. And we wore dresses. Girls did not wear pants then. And heavy coats to school and toboggans if it was cold.
Girls didn't have bonnets.
They had bonnets in the summertime. But we wore those little wool toboggans that pulled down over our ears. Because we had to walk a distance to school. And I remember the first pair of pants. I had a brother, well, two brothers, older than me, between me and any of the other girls. So they were all done and grown before I got there big. And my brother just older than, I followed those boys around all the time. My brother just older than me, he wore blue and white striped overalls. And I'd get a pair of his that had the knees worn out. He wouldn't let me wear his good ones. And I'd wear them. And one day my father went to town. You didn't go to town very often then because you had to drive mules to a wagon or a horse to a buggy. And he came home and handed me a package. And I opened it, and there I had a brand new pair of blue and white striped overalls. And it sure did make me happy.
Approximately.
It was about 12.
Where did you go to school at?
Brady.
In Brady? How did you get to school?
Walked
How far was it?
3 miles.
3 miles. How early in the morning did you have to go to get to school?
Well, we had it was a 2-room school. When you got to 6th, you went to the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And that's first you could go. They just, even in, well, your bigger school was the new one, and I never did go to past the 9th grade.
How early did you get up in the morning? What did you do when you got up in the morning? What time did you get up?
Oh, it was about 6:30.
Did you have any chores in the morning before you went to school?
Yeah, we had to turn the cows out and separate the calves, feed the horses.
And then you ate breakfast and then you went out to school. What time would you start walking?
Oh, about 7. That'd give us hours to get to school. 3 miles over there, but we'd always leave that to get out at 4 and I'd eat.
And then you get home at 5, then what would you do?
Help do up the night work, get wood in, stow wood, milk the cows, separate the calves. But we generally always take a bath in the creek on Friday and Saturday. We had a pond there we swam in. When it was too cold in winter time, we'd have to bathe in that cold water.
Well, how did you flush the toilet?
It was outdoor toilet.
It was an outhouse?
What do you say?
It was an outhouse.
And came back here when school was out. He was down in Dallas.
Well, that's neat. Did everybody have horses?
Everybody had horses. I guess Dr. Jack Whitman was the first person on the car in Shelby. And
What kind of car was it? Do you know? What kind of car? Was it a Ford?
it was a Ford, the first one that came out. Well, the 18 models on it.
Model T.
Model T. Well, it was pretty cars that I let him go on.
Around this area?
No, our family doctor out in the country had one, first old T model, I think, that came out. And from then, they got the A model. When they got the A model, we bought a car. My mother was already dead then. She died when I was 12. And both my brothers, my oldest brother, of course, he's already married and had a family of his own, but both of my brothers that was at home, they already knew how to drive a car because Dr. David let his son learn, and then they learned from him. He didn't care. He was the best old mechanic. He just let those boys take that car and drive.
What was his first name?
Faith.
Faith Bailey.
Just a regular old country doctor, one of the best.
Now, since they had cars, was all the streets paved by then?
Oh, no. We had dirt streets even after they had cars. And the dirt roads from our house to center was 10 miles. And they had some muddy hills sometimes when you went to town. That was pretty hard to get over. But I learned to drive a car when I was 12 years old because those boys, they taught me how. And I could drive just anywhere they could.
Was it an automatic? Did you have power windows?
No, not the first one we had didn't have power windows. But now, I never did drive that Model A we had. We had a shift stick down in Florida, you know, when, like low, second, high, and reverse. And that's the first one I ever learned to drive. And it was what they called a touring car. Didn't have any place. You put up curtains if it was bad weather.
Did you have a rumble seat?
No, not in a touring car. It had 2 regular seats. Now they had what they called a coupe that had a rumble seat.
What was a rumble seat?
It was a little seat that opened up behind where what you call the back end of the car, the trunk or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it opened out that way, you know, with the back out to the back and the front. And it didn't have any cover over it. And you close it up and it looks just like just a regular coupe, you know.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meet at that old tree, huh?
I finally got me a T-model car. My daddy did and let me drive it.
How old were you?
I was about 15.
Yeah, how much did a car cost?
I didn't know, honey. It was about $250. It was second-hand.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember your first car that you got to buy?
First one?
Car.
Oh, you sleep on?
No, your first car. Automobile.
Oh, yeah. First I was before I married now. I got me a 1925 T-model Ford Roadster with a jump seat in the back.
What's a jump seat?
That's for a couple of people who ride with you, put them in the jump seat. That's, you had a lid to turn, when you turn it up, there's the back of it, and there's a cushion just like this. There's a jump seat.
How much did it cost you?
Oh, with much, a whole car cost $475. $475, brand new T-model. But later on, I bought a model. It come out with shift lever. It went up then to about $800. That's one I used to ride Lonnie around in.
Were they automatic or standard?
You'd have to shift, had a lever on down here, second and high.
That's neat. Were they driving when you first came here?
Well, we had a Chevrolet. Crockett bought a brand new Chevrolet for us to go on our honeymoon. And we drove the Chevrolet for a long time, and then we started driving Buicks. And I drove a Buick until I bought this Lincoln out here. Now then, the first, I can remember the first car I ever saw. Some people lived down a hill just below us. He bought a Ford, you know, open and all. If it started raining, you had to take out the curtains and put them up, you know. Anyway, we were about, I guess I must have been 7, 8, 9 years old. We'd hear that car coming with kids. We'd run, jump up on the fence, see it go by, because that's the only one we'd ever seen.
I understand.
Then it was over there where the champion office, along there where the champion office is, was the first one. Then they put in this other one, Smith's on it, put in this other one over there, on the other side of the square, on the east side. And then they built a one out of the highway. And we lived in Shelby then. And he came down every Saturday afternoon. Every Saturday afternoon. And we'd take my sister, who was 2 years younger than I am, to Center. See, we weren't even in high school. We'd go to Center. We would ride around, you know. He had a car, his daddy didn't have it. We'd ride around all the town. We'd then go to a picture show. And there was a little old cafe down on Shelby Street. And it was called the Blue Goose. Blue Goose. And Bob Britton and his wife, her name was, I can't think now, but he owned it. And we would stop there and get a hamburger and a bottle of orange soda water. Oh man, that was something, I'm telling you.
How much did it cost?
I don't know, honey.
That's good. Back then.
They were food kids, so on top of those, you know how old I am?
How old are you?
I am 89.
9.
Oh, I thought you were 82.
No.
89. So you had a lot. What did you do? When were girls usually allowed to date?
About 16. We didn't date before we got 16. I remember first date I ever had. And you dated at home. You didn't get in the car and ride around. You sat in what we call the parlor, the best room in the house, and talked. You just had a conversation about little things that you wanted to talk about. And later, we was allowed to go out in a car with our dates. But we wasn't allowed to go out at night very much, and if we did, we wasn't allowed to stay out very late.
Where would you go when you were allowed to go in the car?
Well, we might go see some neighbors our age, and after they got the theater in Center.
What was it called? What was the theater called?
Bristol Theater was the first one, I think,
Where was it located at?
on the east side of Center.
How big was it, approximately? How many seats?
It was probably as big as this house. And I don't know how many feet.
Yeah.
And it only cost a dime to go.
What did you go see?
Well, mostly we went to see shows like Roy Rogers and Gene Autry and stuff like that. That's what we liked. And we didn't go too often. Because you couldn't get a dime too often then. People didn't have money to spend like they have to spend.
Were they in color?
No, black and white, and didn't have any speech either. It was just wrote on the board up there about what they said and done, you know.
What else did school kids?
Yeah, we'd go to one of the Motorses and Biggerses. And it's 4 or 5 more Motorses, and it's 4 or 5 Biggerses. We'd all go and have a play party, and they'd call it and stay till midnight.
Well, what would you do at the party? What would you do there at the party?
Oh, they'd play the guitar and fiddle, you know. They'd have a fiddler there, and they'd sing, and then we'd all play rain plays. Here goes a clean community. If we didn't, they'd go find what's wrong in the trustees and all. And there was Miss Jean Loaders and Ben Biggers as trustee, and Daddy, and Wiley Kimbro. And Wiley had 2 boys and 3 girls. All 3 made school teachers. Lucille, Annie, and Mildred.
Well,
I
what,
don't know.
tell me about Bonnie and Clyde. Do you know about them?
Yeah, I knew a personal acquaintance with them.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, tell me about it.
Well, when I read,
It went off again?
my daddy took me to Houston. My daddy took the Shreveport Times. And that's where we began to hear. Well, we had a stranger moved in our community, and Papa and Mama told us a whole lot of them. There was Clyde Bear's and Bonnie's friend, girl, Mr. Walden, she had a grown girl, and she come to see them. She brought Bonnie and Clyde. They come to Papa's sawmill and bought some lumber to build a smokehouse. That's where we put the meat and lard and stuff in. And so they introduced me as Mr. Brown. Clyde Barrow said, want me to meet their friend, Mr. Brown and Miss Brown. Well, we had a dog there with 3 squirrels. He was a great hunter. And I delivered the lumber, and that Mr. Barrow, with Brown, his ass, they changed his name to me as Brown. Let's go hunting when you get off of work to see it. We had a big woods area there, and branches running it, and so I carried. Johnny Brancher was a friend of Clyde Barrow, but I didn't know it was Clyde Barrow till after the excitement was over. But it lasted about a week. One morning we went up the shore to a dance that night. I met Clyde Barrow's wife, Bonnie, and danced with her. Didn't think, but I thought Miss Brown. Mm-hmm. Well, it rocked on that away, and finally they robbed that Carthage bank about 11 o'clock, and we didn't know nothing about it, but we did after we hauled the lumber up there, and so it rocked on. They caught Johnny Brasher, but now they catch Bonnie and Clyde. Papa told us one morning, said, that's Clyde Barrow come in with a hunt with you. What they introduced you to? I said, it's Mr. Brown. Well, then when we was peeling corn one evening, and there was a lawyer coming in, so when me and Papa to court in Tyler, Texas, in Warren Borders, he went with us. He got acquainted with Mr. Brown up there that day. And Bill, that wasn't Bill, it was Bill's brother. So it all summoned us to go to Tyler to the court. And we went on to court up there, and they wouldn't let. I was in a witness room where they locked up. Well, come my time to go, they come in there, the bailiff did, and carried us down there, swore me on the stand, and said, do you know them folks? I said, Clyde, not Clyde, but Ramon Hamilton. He was a big buddy of he was big buddy to Clyde. And they asked me, I hauled them some lumber up there to build them a smokehouse for old man Warren. That's old man Warren was Johnny Brancher's dad-in-law. And so then that got Daddy kind of stirred up about it. He didn't know what. Well, we went up there to dance. I danced with Clyde's wife, but I didn't know what was Clyde. I didn't know what I told his wife. I didn't know it was Bonnie Parker, Clyde Barrow. And so then we went to court and stayed up to court. They never did find Clyde and Bonnie. They was killed in Louisiana. And then they sent Johnny Bratcher to the penitentiary for her.
How old were you then?
Was over with.
Tell them about when you and Mr. Brown and Hamilton, or whatever his name was, went squirrel hunting.
Yeah, I went squirrel, and they did finish that a while ago.
Okay.
But then she got the lumber hauled up there. We went on the hunt. And I heard Raymond Hamilton tell Clyde Barron, he said, now, the rule is not shooting with sitting still. You know, a lot of people fight dogs barking, squirrels sit there and you shoot him out. They'd get him to running. And my God, he'd jump from tree to tree. You seen squirrels do that? Well, they'd shoot that squirrel when he was in the air. So I still didn't know.
You know, it was that good, did you?
But,
Did you and your friend have
Swimming pools. Well, yeah, we had swimming pools, but they were down on the branch, just dammed up, and made us a swimming pool. Not very big, and they were never more than waist deep in the deepest part. But we had syrup cans that we tied together, and that's the way I learned to swim. I had one on each side, or I wouldn't sink.
What did you use for bathing suit?
Our old pants cut off, our old overalls or something like that. Wasn't such a thing as a regular bathing suit. I remember the first one I ever got, I was very well up in years.
When you had gone up to the Crystal, to the theater, what else was uptown at that time? Do you remember?
They had 2 cafes, 1 variety store, and about 3 dry goods, what they call a dry goods store, where you bought everything about so.
What was the variety store?
The variety store is where they carried a little of everything, like toys and lingerie, cooking utensils. Well, just the general run. You could just buy anything at the variety store. Now, that's what it was, a variety.
And a dry goods store was more like a grocery?
No, the dry goods stores is where they sold cloth and, well, that was mostly what they sold. You know, people picked cotton then. They had what they called cotton sacks, and they made them themselves, and they had the cotton sacking material there that they bought. And they sold some ready-to-wear at the dry goods store, and hats and coats and some dresses and shoes. They also sold them. No, we had 2 grocery stores up there then too. One of them was Ross, and the other, I guess, was probably Brookshire's. They didn't go to, they went to town about once a month to pick up some things that we didn't have at home, like sugar, baking powders, flour, and things like that. And once in the spring, girls would all go and buy material for new dresses and the ones that needed new shoes, they got new shoes, and hats and things like that. And in the fall, the girls would all go and buy the fall clothes. But other than that, they seldom, the girls seldom ever went. My daddy would get they got a list. When I was little, my mother made it out, and he got it. And then
Something like $10, but that still was expensive back then.
it was really, really expensive, $10. If you had $10 to spend for a dress, you were sort of like uptown.
Yes. When you got to go with Dad, he would always have a soft heart.
Oh, yeah. I rode with him a lot of times. They had a blacksmith just out of town a ways, and he'd have to carry some of his plow tools and things and have them sharpened or shaped up, you know. And he'd drive the buggy with a horse